Hello everyone. I'll be talking about my mapReduce implementation for CS441 and how I used it with Amazon Web Services. So first of all, I wrote my mapReduce implementation using mapper and reducer class. The output will be sorted in descending order by the number of lines that were executed by a certain test. So the first thing I had to do was create a jar file. So I just wrote a command for it in my Gradle script. Jar, when I do this, it goes and creates a jar for me under cd builds. I think it's that build, yeah, my bad. And then libs. So inside libs, here's my freshly created jar file. So to make this work on Amazon, what I had to do first is basically go on the service here. I created an EMR instance, so there's a cluster. I created a cluster. I had to create two of them. One of them was the first one where it got terminated due to some errors. So this is a functioning one, and what I had to do for that is just basically create cluster, set some name for it, pick my Hadoop version on it, and I just use everything as default and created the cluster. The cluster creation time, it was about like 20 minutes. The first one took a little longer, like about 50 minutes or so. So that's that. I already have a functioning cluster at the moment. So to run my Hadoop on here, to run my MapReduce on here, I go on a step, and as you can see here, I already ran a bunch of steps before this was completed. So if you want to add a step, you just do add a step here, and what that does is that it will run your MapReduce. So for that to work, you have to import your jar file that you just created on your local machine to here. And to do that, I use S3 Cloud, or Amazon's S3 storage, which is right here. You just have to create a bucket, and these are the two active buckets that I'm using, HW2 Linux and HW2 Linux jar. This is where I put the jar file that I just showed you earlier, that I created by doing Gradle W jar. I upload them on here, and also my input files for MapReduce, I put them in this folder. So yeah, that's the 4 txt files you see right here. Those go in there. And coming back to doing the step part, so for that, when you do, it's asking you for a jar file, so you have to point it to a jar file that you uploaded in the S3 storage space. So mine's already up here. I'm not going to upload it right now, so you just use that, select, and I have two arguments that I need to pass in, which is the input folder and the output folder. So in this case, if I go back to the S storage, you can see that, as I mentioned, my input text files are all under this folder, these four right here. So I just need to give it the path to it. So just probably type in this HW2 Linux and dash, because it's a repo, it's a directory, and then I need to give it an output directory. So what I'm just going to do is that create the output directory within the input directory. That's it. That's the output. Okay. And you can decide if you want to terminate the cluster if it fails, or just want to continue. I just decide to continue right now. So you just add this and it'll run the job for you. I already did the job before I started recording this video, so here was the last job that I ran. This job created an output depending on what the output folder you passed in as the argument, and my argument was to pass it here, this output, and these are the files that it creates as an output. I already have these downloaded at the moment, so I'm just going to open that. Here they are. So this is part 0. Here you see that it outputs saying that, hey, asteroid.java at line 102, these two tests access that line. These are, of course, being taken care of depending on the number of lines executed by the test, so it's in the descending format. That code has been verified by me, so it's working. And yeah, there are just 3 files that AWS creates because it runs it on 3 different virtual machines, so it has 3 different outputs. Yeah, that's pretty much it. All right.